Rhythm. In music, it's the beat that drives a melody. It's the deliberate pattern of movement or sound that creates flow and continuity. In fighting, rhythm is control, tempo, timing, feel. For Manny Pacquiao and Freddie Roach, rhythm wasn't just movement, it was a weapon. 2 men, 8 weight classes, coach, student, impossible challenges, unbreakable will, and one dream that refused to die.
The best fighter in the world, Manny.
Wondered whether Manny would be able to rise to the level, but he seems to be one
There, down it goes with the left hand. Fight is over.
Fight's over. Thank you.
Unbelievable.
Morales, a true gladiator.
15 seconds. Down goes Morales again. Again, he's down.
And the look on Eric Morales' face looks like he doesn't want anymore. That's it. He called it a day.
This is how Freddie Roach and Manny Pacquiao conquered the world of boxing, by weaponizing rhythm, overcoming the odds, and beating boxing giants on their path to immortality. Freddie Roach.
So the jab, hook, uppercut, okay? Jab, hook, up the middle.
Roach might have been known for his technical expertise as a coach, but it wasn't always that way. Before he was a world-class trainer, Freddie Roach was a face-first fighter, tough and fearless.
What do you remember about turning pro?
You know, this is the first time I'm going to get paid.
How much you get paid first fight?
6 rounds, $90.
Freddie Roach.
Rooted in humble beginnings, Roach didn't have an easy start in life. His father was a hard man with a mean streak, a former boxer who raised his sons with his fists. Freddie grew up slugging it out with his brothers in the yard and fighting on the streets. Boxing wasn't a choice, it was survival. It was what the Roaches knew.
He also is the one that taught me how to box. So I kind of favored my dad over my mother growing up.
Will be coming up. Bayless has not fought for a while. He goes up against a toughie, though, here in Freddie Roach. Roach in the blues.
Freddie Roach is taking punches as he's coming in to deliver those wide looping punches. I really think some of that could be avoided if he'd use his jab more. This is not using that punch at all. He wants to knock out Relis with one punch, and he's not a knockout. Oh, there it is!
The right-left-hand combination. And Relos is down.
Under the legendary Eddie Futch, Roach shared gyms with champions and built a reputation for grit. He wasn't the slickest, he wasn't the fastest, but he was relentless, a brawler at heart.
Here's Freddie Roach. Every time he gets into a fight, it is a brawl, and we're expecting that same thing tonight.
His best defense was offense. And over time, that came at a price. Hand injuries affected Freddie's ability to fight in the way he needed to.
And then I broke it again in training, getting ready for the next fight, and had surgery again. The right hand never came back.
Across 40 fights, he suffered 13 defeats. His body took punishment and he knew when the fire was gone. Freddie stepped away from boxing, working as a telemarketer and trying to live a normal life. But the damage had already set in. Still in his 20s, he was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease, a cruel reminder of the price a fighter pays. But Roach never turned bitter. When Eddie Futch needed help with his stable of fighters, he called Freddie back.
Eddie is really busy with his fighters. And he said, Freddie, can you help me?
And what started as a second chance turned into a new destiny. Roach learned in the shadows, corner after corner, title fight after title fight. His coaching apprenticeship paid him full. His understanding of the sport grew deeper than ever before. Eventually, fighters started coming to him directly for guidance. He stepped out from Futch's corner, built his own gym in Hollywood, and gave it a name that would echo through boxing history. Wildcard.
Eddie told me at one time, don't open a boxing gym, Freddie. It's a pain in the ass, he said. And I said to myself, I says, yeah, but you never know when the next Muhammad Ali's going to walk through your door.
Pacquiao. Pacquiao came from the dirt roads of General Santos City in the Philippines. He was born into poverty. Nobody looking at that young boy selling donuts by the roadside would have imagined he'd one day become the face of a nation, a future world champion, and eventually a leader of his country.
But the only thing that we can leave in this world is the legacy that you made.
He found boxing at 12 years old, fighting in local gyms for a handful of pesos, enough for a warm meal that night.
$2. $2. Yeah, $2. And if you lose, $1. So if you lose $1, so the first time we're very happy because we won the fight, and we earned $2. I buy a rice and food to my mom.
He didn't dream of fame. He dreamed of rice on the table. The hunger he felt as a boy shaped the fighter that he became. Relentless, fearless, and near impossible to break.
To the light, Niagara Street, in the sunny, yeah, the water's coming. We toast to your life. The wine is spills and you smile.
It had been 6 years since Manny Pacquiao turned professional. 6 years of tooth and nail fights, belts won and lost. He had power but not polish, talent but not the system to shape it. Manny had outgrown both the flyweight division and the boxing circuit in Asia. Opponents in the region were becoming hard to find. The next logical step, America, the land where boxing dreams either explode or die quietly.
2001, Manny Pacquiao walks through the door.
Yes.
What did you know about Manny?
Nothing. Didn't even know who he was.
The summer of 2001, his manager Rod Nazario brought him to Los Angeles, chasing a future they couldn't yet imagine. Somewhere in that city, another man was searching for purpose, a man turning the echoes of his past into lessons for the next generation. After a short conversation, the two stepped into the ring. Roach slipped on the mitts, Manny tightened his gloves. The bell rang. 1 round. That's all it took.
I remember my manager talked to Freddie. Freddie, can you do a mitts with my boxer? Like that? Can you do a couple rounds with my mitts with my boxer? And Freddie, yeah, sure, can do.
After 1 round of mitts with Manny Pacquiao, I says, wow, this kid can fight. Because he had speed and he had power. And it's very, very hard to get those two together.
Just weeks later, Pacquiao took a fight against IBF champion Leduaba. His US debut, a 60-1 underdog, the pundits unable to pronounce his name correctly.
Pacquiao should fight here. He shouldn't try to get into a boxing match with this man.
Pacquiao shocked the world, running through his opponent and scoring a 6th round knockout. That night lit the fuse on one of the most iconic partnerships in combat sports history. Freddie Roach had turned his pain into passion, and he'd found in Manny Pacquiao the perfect vessel to weaponize rhythm and conquer boxing's giants. Raw talent.
Pacquiao with a good combination again. Torrecampo is staggered. He heard Torrecampo is carrying the fight to Pacquiao. Oh! Pacquiao out! He's out! It's over.
Before Freddie Roach entered the picture, Manny Pacquiao's style was pure chaos in motion. Roach understood this. They were cut from the same cloth. Fighters before sportsmen, born to fight. Roach had vision. He saw in Pacquiao what others didn't. Potential.
Did you go to any other gyms before this one? He says, Freddie, I started in New York and I came across the country and I stopped at every gym I could. And everyone else turned me down.
Pacquiao had been training with Buboy Fernandez, who served as a long-time assistant and confidant to Pacquiao and stayed with him all the way through his career. Like many fighter-trainer relationships, their bond was tight. Buboy's heart was in the right place, but his knowledge limited at the time. Manny's style wasn't bad under the coaching of Fernandez, but the storm had yet to meet the calm. It was reckless and it wasn't shiny in terms of defence or lack thereof. He was a whirlwind of offence with the courage and determination to fight fire with fire. The tactic was to swarm and overwhelm. However, he often left himself open, relying on his chin and heart more than defence or strategy. Roach had gone through a similar transition when going from his father to Eddie Futch. He understood the adjustments the Pac-Man needed to make. He had lived it. Pacquiao's southpaw stance and offbeat rhythm gave him an edge, but without refinement it had not turned into a weapon. This style wouldn't hold up against the bigger, stronger men in the high weight divisions he would later face. He needed direction. Refinement.
You start using your feints and your head movement. Okay. Alright? Just like in the locker room, you hear me?
Roach didn't want to tame Pacquiao's natural aggression, which was arguably his best weapon. Instead, he just gave it direction.
I never really met anybody that had the explosion that he has on his punches, with the speed and the power.
Pacquiao had the speed, and Roach knew that speed without rhythm is just noise. Rhythm makes it music. Under Roach's eye, Manny learned to turn the speed into timing to create openings where none existed. He learned how to play with rhythm, slip in and out of range and vanish before the counter returned. He sharpened his footwork and taught him how to control distance and built balance into his attacks. He gave him a process, the feints, the baits, the footwork. Together they built a style that conquered boxing. Now every symphony needs its lead instrument, and for Pacquiao it was the left hand. The left hand.
Voice heard.
And made Manny.
Oh my God! Puts Márquez down.
Pacquiao's wild left hand became a tool of consistency. He loved stabbing it through the guard as a lead. Fast feet, offbeat rhythm, clean entry and exit. It wasn't a knockout shot, it was accumulation by rhythm, a constant reminder to his opponents that they could never rest. The setup began with the movement, that subtle tick-tock sway of the head and shoulders, left right, left again, not just for defence but deception. Each sway loaded his hips, every shift disguising the next attack. He wasn't just evading, he was conducting.
But even if you want to get into a slugfest with him, Cotto to avoid those shots, he's down again!
Hey, let's take a look at it. Pacquiao, just a brilliant left hook. Look at it, it's a one-punch knockdown.
Pacquiao's hand speed enabled him to double up the straight left hand with frightening efficiency, throwing two backhands like it was a 1-2. He would leave the rear shoulder forward, not retracting back to stance as is conventional, and pump multiple backhands. This technique would leave opponents with a bewildered look, confused as to what just happened. A lot of Pacquiao's shots don't look like much, but the volume and consistency drain the opponent's battery and force them to fight at a pace they don't necessarily want to. As the rounds go on, he builds and the single and doubles become punches in bunches, Pacquiao peppering the opponents with flurries that simply overwhelm. Roach called it controlled chaos. The rhythm lured opponents into comfort, tranquilised them, then broke their focus in a single beat.
Pacquiao gets off first. We don't see De La Hoya on the ropes like this.
In the corner now, De La Hoya's caught in the corner. And look at this guy go. Minute 15 seconds ago, and De La Hoya's in trouble.
He's going one of the worst cuts.
Got to go for it.
He's got to fight. I mean, that's...
Got to go for the knockout.
Oh, yeah. He just got tagged.
Forget that.
He just got tagged.
Forget that.
He just got tagged. Now.
Then came the change-up left hand.
Look at the face.
Vicious shots and Margarito taking him.
After repeatedly stabbing straight shots down the middle, opponents would close the door, pinching their guard tight. That's when Manny would shift the trajectory, wrapping the shot around the side. Pacquiao wasn't throwing and hoping anymore, he was predicting and punishing. He was known for brawling, but this is the sweet science, picking up on opponents' habits and exploiting them. Every left hand was a conversation between fighter and trainer. Roach's voice guiding through the noise, Pacquiao listening through instinct. This was no longer raw speed, this was rhythm weaponised. And perhaps the most brutal proof of that. 2009. 2 rounds, one perfectly timed left hand, lights out.
Better than I thought.
That's it. Ricky Hatton is done. Knocked out in the second round by Manny Pacquiao. Is there any question?
The right hand.
How did you take his training to another level?
Well, you know, he only had one hand. He had a big left hand, and that was knocking every round. We were kind of satisfied with that for a while. And then he lost to Morales. And after he lost to Morales, I told myself it's my job to make his right hand as good as his left.
MGM.
That's a feet movement.
As a southpaw, most opponents feared Pacquiao's left, and rightfully so. But it was the right hand, the hook they never saw, that shattered rhythm and stole their confidence. In an orthodox versus southpaw fight, both men battle for outside lead foot dominance, the golden angle. The orthodox fighter wants to move away from danger. Manny's answer? Close the door. A well-timed counterhook can not only break a fighter's rhythm, but it has the power to end a fight in an instant and steal consciousness. Manny Pacquiao's counter right hook became a lethal weapon. Freddie understood punch mechanics and paid attention to the small details. He had his fighters able to land a lead hook on a 10-pence piece.
It's only 4 inches away. Right here. Yes. 4 inches, knockouts come that way.
Then if the corner was smart, they would stop the fight.
Oh, Margarito
with a huge right. Yeah.
For Pacquiao, often the smaller man at welterweight, fighting in close was essential, and Roach made sure that when he was in the pocket, every shot counted. As Pacquiao transformed into a more sophisticated boxer, utilising more feints and fakes, angle changes with pivots, he opened up more opportunities to land his more punishing punches. The more defensively responsible he became by not being there for the counter, the more he broke opponents' spirit and will, and the right hook was a crucial component in his strategy to overwhelm opponents from every angle.
Methodical in his approach. Tough customer and a huge right hook.
It lands. Boom!
Right on the temple.
They're going to let the fight go on, and it shouldn't.
Different angle.
The 2-1.
He gets himself ready to fight. It's all business in the ring, and it's a dangerous sport.
The unblockable combination. On the surface, the logic is simple. Throw 2 punches instead of 1. At least 1 is likely to land. And 2, it puts your opponent on the back foot, vulnerable and reacting. But beneath that simplicity is subtle genius. The rear hand loads the lead hand, turning the jab into a backhand, shifting weight forward and covering distance in a blink. In an open stance matchup, the lead hand lane is often jammed by the opponent's jab. So, Manny fires the rear hand first, surprising them. Then he slams the lead hand through as they stumble to reset. Pacquiao would adapt this by leading with a cross to the body before exploding with a jab to the head that would feel like a backhand. The speed of the 2-1 snaps their balance, forcing them offline and into a defensive shell. When you mix that with Pacquiao's single straight shots and his tick-tock rhythm, the constant head and shoulder feints, it becomes almost impossible to predict or prepare for. It exploits the rhythm that he has set. Pacquiao would break a lot of boxing rules and use footwork patterns you seldom see taught in a traditional boxing gym. The way he'd throw a 2-1 or a 1-2-1 was unconventional. He'd use the same footwork as he would with a 2-1 to extend combinations and quickly overwhelm opponents with a blitz, sometimes shifting his feet and walking through to orthodox as he did so. Roach knew not to try and change these unconventional habits.
Get lazy and play. Right? Stay focused in the middle of the ring.
When you got a big buncher.
You're exactly right, and Freddie Roach is the best at reminding him of that. In the midst of all this chaos, he's a nice calm presence when you go to that corner.
Yeah, that's a great thing about Freddie in this corner. Different cornermen use different tactics. Freddie's is total serenity.
Body work and the conductor. Not every coach picks up the pads. Some prefer to watch from the corner, quiet, analytical, giving wisdom when needed. Freddie Roach was different. He'd suit up, put the mitts on, and lived the session with his fighters. For a man battling Parkinson's, that alone was extraordinary. But for Roach, pad work wasn't pain, it was therapy. Every punch steadied his hands, every round kept him alive in the only rhythm he truly knew: boxing.
And I says, when I do mitts with my fighters, I don't shake either. I says, when I'm doing mitts and catching punches, I'm fine.
One of the most iconic symbols of Roach's dedication to his charge was the body shield. He'd strap it on and let Pacquiao unload head to body, body to head with no pause, no wasted motion. It created the seamless transitions that defined Pacquiao's combinations.
Yes, that's true, and that is about
I felt anybody that has
just the whole combat, like hitting a piece of iron, because he is really a solid individual.
He wanted Cotto to throw some punches.
Hand and test Manny.
Knock a guy out for that. Nice body shot by Pacquiao.
They believe they have a real handle on what's going on here. There, Pacquiao reaching with the left.
Once again, the logic was simple. Hit the head and the guard rises, exposing the body. Attack the body and the head is revealed. Pacquiao wasn't known as a heavy body puncher, but under Roach it became a vital part of his attritional warfare, chipping away at opponents' gas tanks, forcing mistakes and breaking their rhythm. Having once been stopped by a body shot himself, Pacquiao understood the pain it caused and the control it gave. He learned to invest early to make opponents dread every exchange, and the subtle change of levels confused opponents and again gave him the element of surprise. The rhythm in which he'd rip a straight to the body and flow into a headshot was much like the 2-1, almost undefendable.
Picking up that title, because if straight left hand right down the middle, and Algerian's down for the 4th time in the fight. That's the best knockdown.
Rhythm and angles.
Pretty well.
This is about 10 punches down, Larry.
Pacquiao didn't just beat men with speed, he wore them down, and every step stole confidence. His movement became a dance of precision and unpredictability built on lessons Freddie drilled daily at the wild card. Roach taught him that rhythm wasn't just about movement, it was about control. To dictate when exchanges happened, when to pause, when to explode.
And a jab, taking it for the head of Manny, and Manny bobbing, weaving, diving, ducking, is not being hit.
We know this. Can you try feints, Tim? Because that looks like Vargas is trying that. Does that work?
Defensively, Manny used the high guard as his base. Behind this defensive shield, Pacquiao would absorb, test and counter, a rhythm of pressure and release.
The office pool at my work. The office pool at my work.
If opponents hit him twice, he'd answer with 4, each exchange at a tempo only he could keep. Pacquiao understood the complexity of simplicity. Under Freddie's guidance, Pacquiao became a master of punching on the move. Forward, backward, sideways, a rare skill that let him attack whilst constantly adjusting his feet.
Legs are spread. Hit him again with the left hand. And another one.
The idea of an angle change is to not only create offensive opportunities, but to not be there for the counter. Pacquiao wanted to be a ghost in the ring. Together with the high guard tactics, he would confuse the opponents and force them to work at an uncomfortable pace that they just weren't prepared for. Each pivot and angle change was drilled into muscle memory, Freddie calling cadence like a maestro leading an orchestra. Pacquiao moved to the beat of Roach's rhythm, fast when told to press and patient when told to wait. As he evolved, what began as raw aggression became a game of timing and placement. Roach helped him to read the opponent like sheet music, with every step and feint part of a larger composition. The perfectly timed pauses that Roach built into him became his greatest weapon. Pacquiao turned timing into damage and motion into music. He rarely attacked from the same position twice, and by shifting his angle and tempo he outpaced not just his opponent's hands but their minds. Freddie was the conductor and Manny was the music. Together they created rhythm in its purest form. It's not just sound but a strategy. And storming through 8 weight divisions, this theory was tested against giants.
Nobody's been down, nobody really shaken, but Manny just beating the daylights out of him now.
Yeah, this fight should be stopped, and if the corner was smart, they would stop the fight.
Oh, Margarito throwing a huge right hook.
And now he's in trouble.
Legacy and loss. As Manny's fame exploded, Freddie's life transformed too. He built the wild card with a simple belief: you never know when the next Muhammad Ali could walk through the door. And he found his superstar in Pacquiao. But their journey wasn't only about triumphs. Rhythm was weaponized, but it wasn't unstoppable. It can be timed, and it can be broken. The rivalry with Juan Manuel Márquez became an era-defining chess match. 4 fights of brilliance, risk, and heart.
Yourself at all times, and what I say you must obey.
Gator.
Pacquiao.
Well, this is the thing.
Down goes Márquez again with another left.
Punch from Márquez.
Oh my God!
Puts Márquez down.
For the knockout.
Hey, he just got tagged.
Forget that.
Just got tagged.
Doesn't take any effect. These are the types of exchanges you look for, but who's getting the best of it?
In their final meeting, one perfect counter right hand sent Manny face first to the canvas, his own weapon used against him. Timing beat speed, and Márquez had found his rhythm.
The cats of Márquez, that's where power comes from. And here they are back into a war again to end the 6th round. And Manny He went down. He hit him with a body shot. I don't know if he can get up from this.
Straight on the chin.
He got him on the chin.
It's done.
He's knocked out.
The world held its breath, but when he rose, he simply said, "That's boxing."
What happened there at the end? You seem to be in control up to that point. What happened?
I mean, I'm starting to get overconfident, but I never expect that punch. He got me a good shot. You know, that's boxing. That's boxing. Sometimes you got hit.
Then came Mayweather, the biggest fight in boxing history. A fight years in the making. Defense versus pressure, precision versus pace.
Touch him up, God bless.
This time, Pacquiao couldn't find his groove, stifled by the patience and positional mastery of perhaps the greatest defensive boxer of all time.
Take advantage. Mayweather absorbing those body blows, nodding, "No, you're not hurt."
Still undefeated, Floyd Manny Mayweather.
Meanwhile, Roach's Parkinson worsened. The tremors grew, but he never stopped.
Because of what I do when I say so active, that I'm not going to let it win. I'm not going to let it beat me.
Manny found faith and family. Freddie found purpose in the gym. And no matter how far life pulled them apart, they always found their way back to each other. Two men who climbed together, fell together, and became something bigger than boxing. The story of Manny Pacquiao and Freddie Roach isn't about knockouts or titles. It's about two men who found purpose in each other. One came from poverty, fighting for survival. The other from struggle, fighting against borrowed time. Together, they built something greater than victories. They built belief. A legacy forged in blood, sweat, and rhythm. Freddie's wisdom gave shape to Manny's chaos. Manny's heart gave life to Freddie's purpose. When Freddie looked at Pacquiao, he didn't just see a fighter, he saw a reflection of the man he once was. They proved that greatness isn't about where you start, but who stands beside you when the world doubts you most. Two men, one rhythm. The coach and the fighter who weaponized timing, turning untamed chaos into an orchestra of violence. This was how Manny Pacquiao and Freddie Roach weaponized rhythm and conquered the world of boxing.
He can't handle your speed, son.
At the beginning, Pacquiao's power bothering Oscar De La Hoya, and Pacquiao gets off first. You don't see De La Hoya on the ropes like this.
And look at this guy go. Minute 15 seconds to go, and De La Hoya's in trouble. It's all over. De La Hoya can't answer the bell for the 9th round. It'll go as a technical knockout victory after 8 for Manny Pacquiao. An upset, a huge upset.
Right, but I mean, the thing is, we wondered whether Manny would be able to rise to the level, but he seems to be one of those.
Down it goes with the left hand. Fight is over.
What about this fight surprised you the most?
His speed. Not so much his power, it's just he was really fast.
I says, this kid is really special. Manny Pacquiao was my next Muhammad Ali for sure.
As always, thank you for watching the video. If you enjoyed this and would like to see more, head over to the Pro Striking Patreon where you can access extra breakdowns, tutorials and one-to-one coaching.
Ideally, turning an opponent would happen at long range, but it can still be done within the mid-range and have some advantages.
Pro Striking appreciates you more than Freddie Roach guiding Manny Pacquiao to boxing superstardom and immortality.
And now, winner of his 8th World Championship, the fighting pride of Sarangani Province, Philippines, Manny Pacquiao.